All right, this is a completely different thing than I planned on doing, but I'm going to catch you up now on a complete disaster. Something crazy that just happened. Because of, I guess, some errors in judgment. So my plan here was to share with you the splendor of the forest and just the great beauty that we have here, this bucolic environment that we call home. Stories about how we're using the wood and how we're reclaiming the forest and managing it in such an effective manner that as second growth, which is quite unsustainable originally after logging 150 years ago, that it's coming back. It's in recovery, and it is. All those things are true, but I guess this is a lesson in you can have many true things and a lot of positive intent, good intent, but you have to be careful about execution. Execution matters, and that's where judgment comes in. And sometimes you learn from experience that the next time around you should judge differently. So here is our very nice road in, and I wanted to talk about how neat it is to come in on this road, and how about 10 years ago when I came in on this the first time, being from the city, my wife and I, we were struck by the peace and just how remote it feels extreme. And that was a really cool feeling to us. We wanted to be in extreme peace and experience that calm of the woods like we feel when we're hiking on the Superior Hiking Trail. However, as part of sharing that with you, my plan was to go through these woods on a border trail that predates us. The border trail probably goes back 100 years. This land was first homesteaded in the mid-1920s. So these trails have been around a long time, and they were the border of the original homesteader's property. I believe he probably cleared it, or it had already been cleared due to logging that was happening at that time. So really, really cool and neat to see. But these are trails that we're just now in the process of reclaiming and marking, and doing it mostly alone, myself and with the kids. It's quite ambitious to do something like that in extremely dense second growth forest. So when forest comes in after clear-cut logging like that, or if it's being cleared for agriculture, believe it or not, he was a potato farmer, potatoes and strawberries, and he sold those to the railroad in the days of the heyday of iron ore mining in northern Minnesota. So most likely he had cleared that land, or it had already been cleared. And what followed after he passed away in the late 20s, he drowned in a nearby lake. So after that, I think this land was probably not occupied for many years. And what happens to land like that, completely cleared, surrounded by dense woods, is the trees that come in are a monoculture. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But my silly story here, I'm going to turn around. So as I turn around here, coming through our beautiful wilderness, where we are most definitely dominated by it, it presents many challenges. And so what I wanted to do was to take you with this stabilized view through that legacy border trail, along that legacy border trail through the woods. And what I found was, what I should have expected, given the fact that we've had some rain recently, is that there are many ephemeral ponds and many wetlands. And what you find as you go south, which I would do if I went to the left of this road in now. Not going to do that now at this time. But if I were to do that, it would be, again, finding myself in wetlands that I really cannot navigate out of because it's so dense back in there. It is a combination of alder brush, aspen trees, balsam fir trees, and once you're in there, there's nothing you can do. You have to navigate your way out with a compass, believe it or not, because it's so dense. So I'm showing you along here, and the cool thing here is that you'll see maple, really, really nice. A lot of hardwood. If I show you around up here, a lot of maple trees, a lot of nice hardwood, which is really pretty. But deep in the woods here, it's completely overgrown, which is what happens when you have second growth forest. There isn't enough diversity of different species of plants and trees to keep it kind of walkable, like you would find in an old growth white pine forest, for example, like the famous forest, the Lost 40, which is kind of in north central Minnesota. So in that forest, you really can walk around and you're just kind of walking on pine needles between these giant trees, similar to what you would find in Marin County in California amongst the redwood trees. You can walk down in there. And so here you can't really walk in because of the density. So focus here. So you can see. So my plan was to show you the great beauty of the wilderness. And what I found was what I should have expected, which is the extremes of this density, and how, I would say, unwelcoming it can be, which is kind of good. It's kind of what we want. We wanted that. We wanted to be in a place that would challenge us. When you experience those challenges and you find ways out of it, you come out with a certain confidence that I think is impossible to find anywhere else and in any other situation. So, of course, we're born to be in nature and to find a way to be in harmony with it. We're made by God for that purpose. So it's interesting to be in the wild like this and to have to figure out a way to do that. What I did is something silly, which is expected a man-made trail to be there where I expected it to be. And after a few seasons, it had most certainly overgrown. You know, just as I'm sitting here editing this, I'm reminded of an interview with Irish poet David Whyte that my daughter just sent us earlier today, which is hilarious. And it's just one of those little bits of insight and humor that God infuses into our lives that make life just a little bit more entertaining. And I love that. And it's always a surprise when it happens. So in this interview, which again is perfectly fitting to this ridiculous situation, he relates poetry as an exploration of the sacred, in that speaking about how moments in your life where you're feeling doubt or feeling lost are not, in fact, signs of failure, but discovery. He says, how do you know that you're on your path? Because it disappears. How do you know that you're really doing something radical? Because you can't see where you're going, entering into the black contemplative splendors of self-doubt, and to the question, what do I do when lost in the forest? He references David Wagoner in his poem Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes, listen. It answers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. So I wasn't able to do what I expected to do, but here we are, coming up the road. I love coming in on this. This never gets old. I really don't think it ever will. It's rough. I think coming in here, any average person would think, would wonder, what is this place? What did I get myself into coming in here? Almost like we've gone on roads while we're traveling by RV, living on the road. We'll get into places where we wonder, will I be able to turn around? What am I going to find at the end of this road? And that's kind of what it feels like coming in on here. And I love that because I wouldn't call it fear. It's like a sense of trepidation and also wonderment with the extremes of the environment. It really smells good here right now. It always does, I guess, especially this season and in the spring. This season you have the decomposition of the leaves, and it's been raining, so all those kind of nutrients are being washed down. There's a stream that runs along this road in, so that adds to the experience for sure. You can tell that you're in a place that is dense with oxygen. It's really quite amazing. It is really quite amazing. So coming in on this road, you eventually reach our clearing, and you find that it's civilized. And in the future I will show you more of that so you can see what I mean. But coming through such a really kind of adverse, hostile nature, and then coming to something that is really quite modern and clearly inhabited. I love that. I love that blend. I love the juxtaposition of that. Yeah, I don't mean to be to get into too much cliche about that, but it is how I feel. So that's the road in. I'll show you more about what you see when you come in the future. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you all next time. God bless, and take care.